What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Breaking Brains, Building Hearts. Bret Burchard here with my guys Chris McAlister and James, Jimmy, Rores. Good to see you guys.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
We're on a series right now about the seven essential mindsets of world-class performance. It's the subject of our latest book, Catching Confetti. So we've been breaking down each mindset one at a time. Started with the resilient mindset, then hit the relaxed mindset, and this week I want to talk about the victor mindset. And to me, the victor mindset is all about your experiences and how your experiences are shaping you and how you're responding to your experiences, whether you're using them for growth or whether you're a victim of your experiences and they're deforming you. And to me, like, a lot of us will just experience life kind of at a unconscious or subconscious level, and we just roll through it. But as a victor, you're intentional about reframing or shaping your experiences in a way that helps you grow. And so super, just another step in the progression, I guess. And I can't argue that one mindset is more important than any of the others, but how we're dealing with our experiences, the hard, the challenging, even the good ones along the way, shaping who we become and in the process. So I think to me, and I'll love to hear your guys' thoughts. I know we're springing it on you, Jimmy, to get some live reaction, but to me, the victor is all about like turning obstacles into opportunities, disadvantages into advantages. And even at a level where like the victor loves growing even more than loves to win at some points. So what comes to mind for you, Jimmy, I'd love to get the live reaction, someone who hasn't yet processed it maybe as long or as far as we have to this point.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this because I saw a movie over the weekend that disturbed me. I mean, to my core. And it made me feel like
an early sneak at Space Jam.
It wasn't a terrible movie. It was just a movie that just totally screwed me up. And so much so I began questioning reality, right? I mean, we'll get into it another day, but what came to mind was this idea, this question that was asked of me previously in another conversation: are we really in control of who we are, what we become, etc.? And we have this illusion of free will. Is free will an illusion or is it reality? And so I'm going there because when you bring this up, I can see how I'm also rewatching the 30 for 30 special, Lakers versus Celtics. And it was just a badass series. But, when you're playing basketball, and you lose and the press calls you weak, calls you old, calls you slow, I can see how reprocessing that to get focused and energized for the next game in a best of 7 series, I can see how that can help. That's easy. That's an easy thing for me to understand. But when you're just searching for a game to play, when you're searching for meaning, when you have way more questions and no answers that you can identify with, I can also see how the experiences around you in your environment and the suggestions and, the potential manipulations that surround us can move us in a direction that we might not have normally chosen, or that we really aren't choosing. It's just there in front of us, or we're being manipulated to believe that and head in that direction. So, that's kind of where this is taking me. And as always, I'm focused on the hard stuff, the shit that I've struggled with over my life, right? I'm on a track heading in a direction. I have a goal, I have a mission, I experience something that now makes me question my reality, questions the decisions that I've been making, question whether I'm even on the right track. Am I even playing the right game? Have I chosen the right path? And then, of course, having to come to terms with the fact that I've been doing it for so long. Do I want to give up all that investment? So it can be quite complicated. And I guess that's what you're creating for me is, a question that has those extremes attached to it.
That's good.
And Chris is just sitting there like, you better come up with something good, baby, because I can see your wheels turning.
No, man, I love the way that that's the heart of the show, right? We're laughing, we're having fun, and we're also connecting at the conversational level for the stuff the three of us, I think about a lot. So this is weird we're talking about this because yesterday I went on a walk in today and before a little bit of dinner prep happens. And I'm comfortable in the paradox of realities, right? I might grill a ribeye one night and cook pum fu the next, which is pumpkin.
That's pumpkin.
Yeah,
protein.
That's the pumpkin seed protein. So I had that last night on some nachos. But, I'm walking and I'm at the edge of my abilities in some places, some things I don't yet know or have figured out. And the very fact that we're saying there's a victor mindset speaks to the reality that you're in a circumstance where you need a mindset that helps you find a confident movement forward, even though you can't be certain. And so, yeah, talking about the deep stuff, this is so deep. I'm walking and I'm looking at the clouds and I'm still shook by the stuff earlier this year with the face cancer. I'm like, what's it even all matter? What's it for? Because my ambition and desires have grown so much over the last 6 months. My awareness of timing and not forcing things has grown a lot over the last 6 months. My ability to appreciate leverage has grown so much over the last 6 months that I look back before that and it's hard not to feel like a lot of time wasted, a lot of impact dissipated, a lot of whatever. And at some level, it would be mentally comfortable to relax and know that you don't have free will, right? This makes me think of that Saturday Night Live sketch where they did a Dora the Explorer thing where she wrestled with free will, which makes fun of how deep this conversation is and the show because she would just stare at the screen and blink. We used to talk about how it would creep us out as parents watching Dora the Explorer, and she would just look at the screen and go, so if Boots found the map, do we know the way to the tree? And just blink at you. So what would it be like if she was like, and if the penguin didn't fall off the cliff, does it still have free will? And, it's blinking at you. But I'm looking at the clouds and I'm thinking about this thing about free will. And I don't know. Is it all planned? Do we have choice? And I'm so comfortable with the paradox, the mystery, that the ribeye and the pum fu, I'm not going to say which one of those is the ribeye, but it's that there is something. I'm not the causal agent of all of my life circumstances. I'm cooperating with what's unfolding. And, there's a choice that I have in that. And the victor mindset calls out for me the symbiotic relationship of those two beliefs. Okay, I move forward. I'd be curious because I know I have something I could share. Where are you guys feeling knocked down right now? And Brett, you may have had another question. I'd love to hear at the edge of your experience right now, where are you feeling knocked down and where is the victor mindset being cultivated and where do you feel tempted to live with a victim mindset?
Jimmy?
I'm challenged every morning when I trim my goatee. Because you can always take off too little, too much. It's like, fuck, what do I do?
Every time I check on YouTube, no, it is not made for kids. That's why. When you load a YouTube video and you have
I had a buddy made for kids. It's funny. Yeah. Another topic. Okay. So where am I feeling knocked down? So let's get really big. Okay. What does it all fucking mean, Chris? What is the point? I bust my balls every day chasing something, chasing. And I have little wins along the way. And I enjoy my family. I enjoy something. And at the end of the day, I go to sleep and I get up and I do it again. I get up, I work out, I eat, I do my things. I schedule my schedule and I work out and do it. And every day passes and I'm occupied and I'm focused and I'm doing stuff. What the hell does it all mean? For what? And so, you know, if you're not doing it for the trophies, if you're not doing it for the accolades, if you're not doing it for your reputation, what are you doing it for? And, you know, if you lose sight of, you know, this idea of moving forward to what? Moving forward to what, Chris?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you don't have that shit together, and if you don't have a way to center yourself, then it's you're screwed. And that's why I love the simplicity of sports. It's like I have one thing. I want to win the championship. Okay, cool. What do you have to do? Well, here's 10 things, 11 things that you have to do. And, you know, I heard, you know, on this documentary, right? Larry Bird, amazing player. I mean, to watch him play, it just blows me away. The skill that I ignored when I was, in high school when he was playing. You know, what did he say? All he said was, if you work as hard as I do, you better be this good. It's like, if that's all there was to it, was working hard, it'd be like no big deal. So you've got an athlete in a sport that's organized and he's given an award to go after, a trophy to go after, go. It's like, I can't imagine anything easier than that. I bring my talent, I bring my hard work ethic, and I'm focused on a friggin' trophy for the next 10 or 20 years. Like, what's so hard about that? Yeah. It's pre-built for you. The whole infrastructure and framework is built for you. Just come, show up and work your ass off, and don't do the things that tear you down, like, you know, arrogance or laziness or, you know, eating the wrong foods or going out and drinking and staying up too late. Okay, big deal. Like, all I have to do is ignore the shit that's bad for me and then work hard. And for the next 20 years, I got it made. You know, that to me is like piece of cake. Now, how come I'm not doing that? Because I'm not built to fit into someone else's system. You know, I just can't. It just took me a while to realize it, but I'm not built to do that. Why did I go to college and grad school? To get credentials that would allow me to accelerate faster. What did I learn? I couldn't tell you. I paid for a credential. It was the last credential I paid for. So, you know, for those of us who don't fit into a predefined system, and by the way, if you fit into a predefined system, how much free will do you think you have, or do you cultivate? You know, a system created by, you know, in football, 32 owners. That's your reality. And then one that's fanned by ESPN. That's your reality. I mean, I'm not trying to like burst a bubble for anybody who's in that world, but come on, it's so controlled and contrived and built for you. What are you talking about? And then you got guys like us who are trying to like find our own path and create shit from scratch in the context of these constructs that are around us, like social media. What are you going to do about it? You know, we can't travel. We can't meet people. Video, Zoom, you know, good luck.
It's so interesting that your rant there, Jimmy, like.
That was a rant?
Yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet, right?
Brought out a Stephen A. Smith on us. What's so interesting is the timing of this, because it's really resonating with where I'm at right now. Cause I've spent my entire life in that system you just talked about. Like literally my dad, like I was born into a coaching family, and just, it was kind of, you know, what I've been struggling with or wrestling with in the last few weeks is that, you know, my entire system has been built for me. It's been revolved around a basketball season. And so the work I'm supposed to do next, the next project I'm supposed to take on, the next box to be creative in, the relationships that I build have always been given to me. You know, I'd had to build the relationships. I had to do the work. I had to come up with a new idea, but it's the container, the constructs have always been given to me. And now that doesn't exist anymore. And so to your question, Chris, like, where do you feel knocked down? Such a weird space now, because the victor mindset to me was, it always made really a lot of sense. Like, you face hard things, and I'm going to overcome a challenge, right? I got a crappy team. I'm going to figure out how to win the game. I'm down 20. We're going to figure out how to get back in it. We've lost 3 in a row. I'm going to figure out how to get the next. Like all those little setbacks, the failures. All right, this is for my, easy to reframe it as this is for my growth, right? But now in a place where nothing's happening. It's not that negative things are happening to me. I'm having negative experiences, and I have to find a way to flip those into positives and keep going and find the next way. Nothing's happening. There's a void. There's a, like, I create it or I don't. I go get it or I don't. And so like reframing that experience from a victor mindset, it's new, it's different. And it's an interesting obstacle or challenge to face when I'm not getting presented with resistance. There's just nothing there. And so
unless you create it, right?
Yeah. And so how is this growing me? Like, how do I make sense out of this that is saying, okay, I'm going to overcome, or I'm going to triumph over this when there's nothing resisting me, so it's such an interesting space to be in, which is new for me, probably space. I know, Chris, you've had reinventions before where your life was kind of built around systems, and then, you voluntarily left those systems. And so I'd be interested if that resonates with you at all, that kind of transition space.
Oh, big time. I love the way both of you are describing this idea. Jimmy, you're passionate, breaking out this idea for us about how the context, the form, the system, and then how you don't have that as much now, and how, Brett, you're talking about. And dude, I don't want it to sound like I've arrived, because I know I haven't, but I did have a recent breakthrough that I'm okay sharing here. So I'm going to talk about what wasn't working and then what did, and then the higher level principle behind it. The face cancer thing hit, and it just rocked me, man. I mean, Jim Collins, Good to Great, has that idea about the 20-mile march. Like, how do you get to Antarctica? You march 20 miles every day. You use that historical example. Well, honestly, I feel like most days over the last 8 weeks, I've marched 4 to 11 miles a day, not 20. Now, that's still doing something, and something is better than nothing. And the cumulative effect of that will lead to an amazing life. As far as like, if you're not, what Jimmy was saying, playing status and approval games, the trophy, right? All that. Or rebellion games. They're not going to tell me who to be, but like we talk about, we want to play vision and desire games. Who are you and what do you want? Where are you at? What's the overflow of what you want? So you're going to have an amazing life if you're marching towards what you want, and it's coming from a place of purity in you. But it really does get powerful when you're making that 20-mile march every day, or most days. Nobody does it all the time. And dude, I just couldn't figure it out, man. I tried supplementation. I've experimented. I've done everything. It's been frustrating, and just not having that I wouldn't call it a victor mindset. I would call it a crawling on my elbows mindset. And I don't want to speak too much about it yet, but I have had it lately. Like, even this morning, what I got done this morning is like stuff that would take me a week to do. It is at a completely different level. And here's the best way I could describe it. Yesterday's actions didn't have the same meaning. Why? The face cancer stuff, COVID changed all of our businesses, and all the stuff I would have been excited to do last summer inched us closer to where we are now, but it didn't really lead to breakout success as I want to see that success happen. If I had like kind of average standards, not average for other people that it would be negative, but average standards for the reach of the coaching business, I would be like running around giddy. But the standards are different. So part of it is when you're in this place and you're at the edge of your abilities, and you're trying to do something you haven't done before. You're creating something out of nothing. It's a new context. It's like we used this example before, evolutionary history. You're in the jungle. You don't know what plants are poisonous and what will feed you. And so you're having to get new data and you're having to upgrade your intuition. And I feel like I've had the courage to look at the data and not settle my desires, but my intuition hadn't clicked in at a deeper level. You know, you need that intuition, that insight, that revelation. And so for like the last 6 or 7 weeks, I've just been passionately going like, I got to get that revelation. And it's not like it struck me over the head with lightning. Sometimes that happens, but it was just a deep settling of, you need new data. Okay, you're getting that. And you need to keep getting that intuitive sense for where you are because you're walking a different path. And that cultivates that slow burn into a raging fire of a victor mindset for me. This is all stuff at the edge of my consciousness. So I love our flow here because I don't feel like I have to have it as neatly wrapped up as I would in some settings.
Right.
So yeah, where did that not land with you guys or sound terrible or not match your experience?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
All right. So
I can go, but it looked like you had something on the edge.
You know, I didn't know if you were going to go or if you wanted me to go. So it's cool.
Go ahead.
No, I love the idea of intuition. You know, to me, that means, you know, knowing without thinking. And to me, that's feeling, right? And so I was at lunch yesterday with someone and I'm trying to figure out why the hell we're at lunch. Like there was 2 business people, but there was no like deal to talk about. Like, and nobody said, hey, what can I do for you? Or can you, no, there was none of that shit. It was just, we were just sharing experiences. And I remember sitting there thinking like, what was the fucking point of this? Right? He bought, I'm like, great meal, in and out, back to my life. But like, there's no to-dos, like no action items. Like what? It was really weird. So I think the first thing was probably just FaceTime, right? This is an executive who runs a business, taking time just to chill and just shoot the shit. Like, and I think I got more out of it than he did, which is unusual because I'm usually trying to, anyway, it's like, so I was feeling it yesterday and you know, what do I enjoy about what I do? And Chris, to your point, the breakthrough for me has come recently, just as I've worked on these challenges. And it's just the idea of the why, right? Why are you getting up and toiling, right? Learning and doing and striving and struggling. You know, it's not for the money. It's not for the trophies. It's not for the recognition. Then what's it for? And for me, it's for my ability to impact my kids. You know, and that's a feeling that I get. That's an intuitive sense that I have, that there's nothing more important to me in my life than being there when they need me, or even when they don't think they need me, right? Being there when some insight, some advice, some experience is important. If I'm going to be there, then I have to be constantly advancing so I can be of value. And then after that, it's all about being there for other people, right? You know, if we're on this earth to procreate and to advance the species, then, you know, and this is just a justification for how I feel. How I feel is I've got to be here to advance the species, to advance people. Well, can I advance 1 million people at a time? Maybe someday, but now I'm doing it one at a time or a handful at a time. And it feels friggin' good. All that research, all that hard work, all that inquisition, all the model building, all the problem solving today came to fruition for a company that's been struggling for years to get something done. And in an hour, we identified it, we assessed it, we built an action plan and created some homework. And man, I felt really good about that. Not just because I accomplished something or because maybe I feel like I delivered on a promise, but it's really about the impact for me and the why. And that's, Chris, what I lose sometimes. I lose that awareness sometimes. I get lost. And so, you know, the biggest thing for me is that when I have these moments of awareness, how do I keep them, right? And it's awesome because if my daughter asked me that, I'd tell her easy, sticky note on your mirror, boom, in the bathroom every morning, you know, meditations, etc. All the things that we know are true and are there. for us to utilize that we just may not think about. And so we're now subject to the same kind of cycles of doubt and then rediscovery. So that's what it brought for me. And I loved your word, intuition. That's really what happened to me, is when I stopped thinking and began feeling, what was it? What is it? And it's that desire to have an impact, to be there for others, starting with my kids, for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love the idea there, Chris, about intuition and, collecting data to train the intuition. And then, when you're stepping into new space, how you got to train a new intuition. Like, you get anyone who's, all three of us have in different ventures, but run a race or played one single game for a long time, that intuition gets really, dialed in, and you know it, and it's becomes your rhythm of your life, and it's so easy. And then you switch and change games. It feels weird not to have that anymore. But that's the victor mindset, right? Now we're gonna retrain and know we can come out on top and win a new game, learn how to play a new game. For me, and I love the format of our show, because I wasn't planning on expressing any of that until we signed off and had our meeting. And so we got to express it live and share and volley back and forth together. So that was fun. And then, like all the mindsets so far, we started drifting into the next one. So next week we'll talk visionary mindset and your why, Jimmy, and who you're becoming, and what you're shooting for in the future. So excited to see how all these things tie together and make one solid world-class performer. So thank you, guys. Thanks for your insight. Thanks for your wisdom. Thanks for sharing vulnerably. It's what makes this whole thing beautiful. So until next time, keep winning, keep finding ways to win, keep growing. We'll talk visionary mindset next week.